let's go with number 4 in the division, the New York Football Jets. So here's my thing. Now, do I think they've made some good improvements? Yes, their drafts have been pretty decent. They've addressed the areas of need. But now that their left tackle, Mekhi Becton, we can probably say he's a bust, right? If he misses this whole season, which he got hurt, and he's expected to miss the whole season, he'll have missed 35 of 50 eligible games. Yeah. And when he plays, he's good, not special. So that's probably a bust there, right? And the quarterback, we don't know yet, right? Has some talent, but hasn't really showed it, been really reckless, not completing enough passes, had the worst QBR in the league. Yeah. So we have an unproven defensive head coach in a league that's increasingly offensive. So I don't love that. Weapons are good, not special, and the defense is relatively weak. And in a division with Josh Allen, I don't love Tua, but Tua will be really, really productive in Mike McDaniel's system.
Yeah,
I mean,
he will be.
I don't think he would be any worse than Jimmy G, and I'm a big Jimmy G guy, and he played in the same system under Mike McDaniel. And their schedule is pretty brutal. They start off with like 4 or 5 games against either playoff teams from last year or playoff caliber teams going into this season. So I just don't see... I mean, even the easy games against, like the Patriots and like Bears and stuff like that, like those are still, for the Jets, tough games. And even the tough games they play, they're all on the road.
Yeah.
I think they go like even to Seattle, right? That's probably like their easiest road game. That's still not an easy road game.
No.
So I don't see a whole lot of wins on their schedule.
It's really tough to find them still. I think they're in the place where they're starting to be able to build back a little bit. Right. They are adding the right pieces. They had a really good draft. Like the question marks are still at the most valuable spots, though. Your coach, defensive leaning. The entire league is leaning offensive. Your quarterback, big question mark. Does he have arm strength? Yeah. We were talking the other day that there was a video of Zach Wilson throwing the football at training camp, and it was like one of the hardest footballs ever thrown.
The fastest thrown football in training camp history.
And it's like, that was never the question with Zach Wilson. It's
where's it going?
Accuracy, it's decision making, it's right. Avoiding the rush, it's everything else that you need to do. So yeah, 4-13 seems about right for the Jets. They're going to need to really show that they have something moving in the right direction if they want that to increase.
Right. Well, let's piss off some more people that we really don't care about. That's New England Patriot fans. They're right up there with Cleveland fans. Plus, they've got a lot of karma coming to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you won 7 Super Bowls.
Right. You're owed a bad season, and I think here it is right here, 5-12. 5-12 is the projected record that we have for the New England Patriots. Here's the thing. Quarterback play, average at best. Average at best. No real offensive coordinator. You lose one of the best in the game, Josh McDaniels, as your offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. You lost your best offensive line piece, Shaq Mason. You know, your weapons on the outside really aren't special. Not a whole lot of perimeter talent at all. You overpaid last year for a lot of free agents that didn't really pan out. Your defense is good, not special. You lost your top corner, right? So the schedule's tough, right? I think they've been losing to Miami a lot recently. I don't think that changes. And you have Buffalo, who's an absolute buzzsaw. Like, I don't understand. I don't know where the wins are going to come from. Now, I think Bill will coach him to a couple. Yeah. But even then, I still think it's only 5 wins.
He'll get them
6.
I completely agree. He'll get them prepared and ready to go for every single game, and they'll have a shot because of him. But he can't strap on pads and go down there and play. And plus, we're going to get to it in the third segment, who we project to be the best sophomore superstar of the class of quarterbacks going into their second year. Mac Jones isn't a guy that I would really consider. I still question a lot with him, and just Alabama quarterbacks in general. I don't tend to trust. It's a thing that I have. So
I mean, name me the one that has succeeded at a high level. So that's what I thought. All right, Dolphins at number 2. I think this is a fringe playoff team. I think 10-7 feels about right for them. Right, they're still rebuilding the offensive line, and the defense could use some pieces, especially after losing a defensive head coach like Brian Flores. Mm-hmm. I expect the defense to take a slight step back, but they add a lot of good weapons in the backfield, and obviously Tyreek Hill. So now you have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Cedric Wilson's a really good 3, and Mike Gesicki is a fantastic tight end. Yeah. You now have 3 or 4 backs. You can go 3 or 4 deep that are all starting caliber backs. You got Myles Gaskin, Sony Michel, Raheem Mostert, Chase Edmonds, just to name a few. There's the top 4, and all of them were starters last season. So you have a lot of talent in the backfield, so Tua is not going to have to carry the roster. And, first of all, it's a good roster, and I think Tua is going to take a step up, right? Like I said, Jimmy G in the same system was a really, really serviceable quarterback.
Yeah.
He was accurate and he was on time. I expect Tua to be those things. Is he going to be extraordinary, outside of the framework of the play? Maybe not. Does he have to be? Not really. Right? So, as much as I bang on Tua, I think he could be a very productive quarterback this year, and I think it'll lead them to about 10 wins. I think at best 11 if they, get a couple things go their way. It's the NFL, it's inches really, really matter.
Yeah. I think 10 wins is also a pretty generous prediction towards Miami. As to what they've been and where people see them going, I feel like 10-7 is just kind of, it's very accurate in my opinion, but I also feel like, this is also kind of pro Miami a little bit. Sneak into the playoffs, maybe catch a win or two. And they have some of the nicest practice facilities. We kind of went through Miami a little bit in the last week.
Yeah, how was it?
Flew over their practice facility, like
Sweet.
landing around Fort Lauderdale area, and you could see it coming in. Yeah, pretty cool. So.
Right. And you mentioned getting to the playoffs, right? Imagine it's January. Do you want to see that system, hard-nosed, running the football system with 4 backs coming at you? I wouldn't want to face them, so
that
they could make some noise.
Detrimental to a team.
Yep. All right, how about Buffalo in the number 1 spot? I don't think it's a shock to anybody. I think it's probably, right now, if I had to pick the best team in the league, I think I'd probably go with Buffalo. I think they have a chip on their shoulder, too, especially the way they lost last season. I think they would have to. One of the top MVP picks, at quarterback, and Josh Allen, right? Do I worry that they'll run the football enough? Yeah, I do worry a little bit, but they have really good weapons, a solid offensive line. They have a really good pass rush. I think they have one of the top corners in the game in Tre'Davious White. Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano are coming back as inside linebackers. They're solid. And then you have Sean McDermott, who's a really, really solid coach. I worry he's defensive, and I worry about losing Brian Dable. But I think Josh Allen at this point is self-sufficient, right? Doesn't need Brian Dable to develop him anymore. He can kind of do it himself. Him and the offensive coordinator, the new one, can kind of take over that system. I don't think there will be too much of a decline on the offensive side of the ball. So Buffalo at 14-3. I mean, we had trouble finding wins. It was plausible to go 16-1.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
We got to the end, and it was... Yeah, it was very, very hard to start to look and pick out losses. Like, you had to start
pick out some upsets and stuff. Yeah,
and this is a Thursday night game they play, a little short rest. I mean,
right.
But then again, the other team also has short rest. It's a whole thing that goes into it.
Right.
Are they traveling? What time are they playing at? A lot of that stuff matters. But yeah, I mean, Buffalo at the top of the division, I don't think it's really a shock to anybody.
Right.
It's going to be this year and next year. We talked about it. They did pay Josh Allen. That's the truth of it. So Their Super Bowl window is shrinking. I think if they're going to make a move, it's got to be now. Go
this year or next year.
Make a push.
I completely agree. So to run back through the division.
So just to run back through it, we got the Jets at 4-13, the Patriots at 5-12, the Dolphins at 10-7, and then atop the division, the Buffalo Bills at 14-3. It seems about right.
The order is definitely correct.
Yes.
Now you can nitpick a game or two here and there. I can't see it finishing.
The Dolphins
in a different
aren't
order.
winning. The Patriots aren't finishing higher than the Dolphins, and the
But they won't finish
only
lower.
two that I could honestly see maybe flipped are the Patriots and the Jets.
You think the Patriots could finish last? See, I don't think they will. I just don't think Bill. I think Bill's too good for that.
If it wasn't to finish like this, the only other way that I could maybe see it finishing is the bottom two flip, because I don't think the Bills are going to win the division.
Right, and I don't think the Dolphins are as bad as the Patriots. I think the Patriots are significantly worse than the Dolphins.
The gap is closer with the Patriots and the Jets, though.
Right. I get what you mean.
Either way.